Should I use steroids? It's one of those standard questions you get, like, you know, every once in a while if you're in shape or whatever. People ask you for advice on things. That's one of the questions they asked. And I'm going to go ahead and give you the Cliff Notes answer. Then I'm going to explain it. Nope. Nobody watching this fucking video should be using steroids at all. Period. End of story. Don't even ask. Don't know what you look like? Don't know what kind of shape you're in? The answer is no. You should not be using steroids. Okay. Allow me to explain myself. I do not support anybody using steroids, but I understand the decision that some people do make to use steroids, okay? If you want to get to the absolute top of the world-class level of any sport whatsoever, you know, not just bodybuilding, not just MMA, fighting, whatever, Tour de France, you know, try to go 100 miles in a bike through, you know, the European mountains and then do it again tomorrow and do it again tomorrow. You know, if everybody was natural, I'm sure it would be okay to do that with training. But if one person uses anything to help them recover better or more quickly, then everybody else is going to need to take something just to compete. Straight up fact. I heard NASCAR drivers use steroids because when you're pushing a car like that to its absolute limits, the whole goddamn thing shakes, and just holding onto the steering wheel breaks down the muscles in like your arms and chest and shoulders. So, you know, NASCAR drivers use performance-enhancing drugs. You know, the fact is, if you're up, like I said, you want to get at the top level of sports, you're going to probably have to use steroids. And the same thing, funny too, is like, you know, with bodybuilding, steroids, you're going to have to use insulin, growth hormone, diuretics, amphetamines to really speed, like a real fat burner to speed up your, you know, your body's fat burning. You're going to have to use amphetamines just to keep your body moving because of all the drugs you're taking, the crazy, you know, drying out, low-carb diet you're going to go on and stuff. So you certainly need it if you want to become like a pro bodybuilder. But nobody watching this fucking video is a pro bodybuilder. Nobody watching this video is a professional athlete that's gotten up to the height of their genetic potential. You know, everybody's body has a certain limit as to, you know, how much muscle they can grow. It's kind of like growing in height. You know, you grow, you grow, you grow, and then at a certain point you don't get any taller. And as you can tell, that differs from person to person. You have midgets and you have giants, you know. And it's the same thing with muscle. Obviously, depending upon how you train, how you diet, when you start in your life, dieting and training, you know, how consistent you are, that changes a lot of things too. But there's always going to be a point, you know, where you just can't grow anymore. But the thing is, nobody watching this video really wants to probably even get close to their genetic potential in terms of building muscle. Most people watching this video want to get in shape. They want to lose a little fat. They want to build a little muscle, probably just to look good, whether it's for themselves, their wives, the, you know, hundreds of women they want to have or whatever. Nobody here wants to become a mass monster, probably. Okay? So you really don't need steroids to get where you want to be. Okay? If you really want to just get in shape and look good, you probably should stay well within your genetic potential, much less, you know, exceed your genetic potential for building muscle. You would probably be unhappy if you actually built that much muscle. Okay? And nobody watching this video is probably anywhere near their genetic limits. Like, most people watching this aren't like, you know, I've got my arms up to 17.5 inches, I got my body weight up to like 200 pounds really lean, and man, no matter what's happening, no matter what I do, the damn, you know, scale doesn't move, the tape measure doesn't budge, you know, I'm just not getting any bigger. No, most people aren't like that. Most people are like, I'm thinking about working out. Haven't done it yet. Do you think I should use steroids? And I'm not joking about this. I literally know a lot of people. One of them was actually a really good friend of mine. He was, back when I was living in Germany, I used to do security on the side job. And I was running security for, it was a discotheque down in the basement. Up top, there was like a strip joint and like a little kind of like wannabe sports bar, you know, where you could get something to eat and grab a beer. And then they had another strip joint, okay, in another building, you know, and I was doing security there. I was head security for a long time. And one of the guys that managed all the strip joints was, you know, he like lived on cigarettes and energy drinks. He like really didn't eat, you know, very often. He was always on the go, always coordinating something, you know, it's just, he was really always on the go. One of those type A guys, which just, he was really skinny, you know, and it's like, and he had a lot of money, and he's like, oh man, I need to get in shape, you know, thinking about using steroids and you know, before I met him, apparently he would use steroids. And what he would do is he would start working out, not eat properly, okay, start working out, not eat properly. He would literally have steroids, okay, have bought steroids before he even went to the gym the first time, before he had a gym membership. So, you know, it kind of shows his mentality. And he didn't really want to, you know, reach his genetic potential at all, not even reach it. It's just, he wanted it now, he wanted it faster. And the problem is, steroids aren't going to help him. Because like I said, I knew a lot of guys who are really big guys, who use steroids, who worked security also, and you know, like I said, he's like, yeah, you know, he would just go ahead and he'd shoot steroids, he'd start lifting weights, kind of get in shape, you know, and then he'd stop working out again, stop using steroids, and then he'd start it up again. As a matter of fact, here, you know, where I am up in Florida, I was talking to a girl, and she was telling me about a guy, you know, that she had a relationship with, and, you know, he would like do steroids, okay, go to the gym, basically do like a couple sets of bench press, check himself out in the mirror, and then when he cycled off the steroids, he wouldn't work out, and he would just smoke weed all day and just eat crap and not work out. And it's like, that's, you know, like I said, that's like not that both of those people would have gotten a lot further if they had just worked out on a consistent basis, eaten properly on a consistent basis, rinse and repeat. Okay, that they would both of them, neither one of them really looked like they were in shape. They improved, okay, because they used hormones, okay, but it was basically like two guys. One of them has really good genetics, you know, and he's naturally a little bit bigger, a little bit more in shape, and one of them is like has bad genetics, he's naturally skinny or skinny fat, you know. It's like, yeah, you know, you can tell that the one guy's in a little bit better shape, but he's not really in good shape. That's what basically happens to these guys, you know. They just go ahead and start shooting steroids, lift weights for a little bit, they, you know, build a little muscle, burn a little fat, you know, and then they quit again. And that's the reason why I say, you know, that nobody watching this video should use steroids. Like, dude, go ahead and lift weights, or, you know, in my case, do calisthenics, whatever, for like 2-3 years straight, okay? Don't switch routine to routine to routine to routine, or schedule like 3 days a week, 5 days a week, 7 days a week, 1 day a week. You know, take something and stay with that schedule for like, you know, 3, 4, 5, 6 months minimum. You know, stay on the same diet for 3, 4, 5, 6 months minimum. You know, bulk or cut or maintain whatever with your, you know, diet and calories. 3, 4, 5, 6 months, you know, and then maybe change and then stay on that for another half a year. Do that for like 2-3 years, and then come back and tell me a couple of things. First of all, do you still really want to use steroids? Okay. And second, you know, aren't you happy? Aren't you happy with the amount of muscle that you've built and the amount of fat that you've burnt? You know, the thing is, like, you know, I'm not saying that I'm perfect, but I'm 40 years old. I'm over 40. You know, I lost 30 pounds of fat in 4 months, got myself all ripped, went into a lean bulk, put like 1 inch on my arms, okay, all natural. No amphetamines to burn fat, no steroids, no nothing at all, okay? You know, and I'm certainly not the biggest guy, I'm certainly not the most in shape guy, but the fact of the matter is, a 40-year-old guy, injury-free, just doing calisthenics, completely natural, you know, with 16-inch arms, you know, and even when I was bulking, I had a very flat stomach. It's like, I don't know, it's like how many people are in that kind of shape? I'm not talking shit. I'm not talking about how great I am. I'm just saying, though, seriously, it's like, I'm not perfect. I'm nothing special whatsoever. But how many people, if they were in just this kind of shape, would, you know, would be happy? Okay? And it happened quickly because of my consistency. So, no, you shouldn't use steroids. If you're watching this, okay, because people who are at the top of their game, you know, at the top of their genetic potential because they've been working out consistently and dieting consistently for years, they're not watching this video to ask me if they should use steroids or not. They made the decision, yes or no, in their own head, which they should do. It should be your own decision, you know, and that's it. Okay, they're not going to fucking be asking me questions. So if anybody actually is surfing the internet trying to figure out if they should use steroids, the answer is no. You're not at that point yet. You know, like I said, it's like I'm really haven't accomplished anything, so to speak. You know, 16-inch arms isn't shit, really. You know, and but I'm happy where I'm at, and I don't think I'm at the limits of my genetic potential. I think that I can continue growing. You know, I think that if I keep my body fat percentage in check, you know, and continue getting stronger, I will continue getting more muscular. And it's just going to get better. I'm really excited. I'm curious about what's going to happen, what the future holds for me, you know, in terms of my body. So it's, you know, so even though I'm actually in really good shape, so to speak, you know, I have no desire whatsoever to use steroids. And even if I were to use steroids, you know, and pump up, some people ask that too. It's like, well, why don't I use steroids to get to the top of my genetic potential and then stop and then just maintain, you know, stop using steroids and just maintain. It's like, let's say, you know, I were to go ahead and put on like, you know, a couple inches on my arms. Now I got like, you know, the 18-inch arms, give or take, you know, in like, let's say, I don't know, 3 months, 6 months. I have no idea. I never used steroids. And, you know, and I was at the limit of my genetic potential. What the fuck would I do then? All right, great. You know, press a button, you know, shoot some fucking oil into your ass, whatever. And all of a sudden you're at, you know, your genetic potential. What the fuck do you do then? Like, you know, I love looking up new workouts. I love looking up, you know, new diets and trying them out on myself. And then, you know, telling people, hey, I did this and it worked. I did this and it wasn't worth a fuck, you know. What are you going to do if you reach your genetic potential? If you're a professional athlete, you win. Yeah, okay, great. If you're a professional athlete, you win. But if you're just like a normal guy out there who wants to work out as a hobby and just to look good and to be in shape, wouldn't it be better to be like, for years on end, you could continue improving? You go to the gym knowing you're going to get better, as opposed to just, you know, taking some pills, shooting some oil into your muscle and, you know, reaching your genetic potential and then being like, okay, I'm going to the gym today, but I'm not going to get any better because I stopped using steroids. I'm already at my genetic potential. Anyway, that's just my opinion. Like I said, anybody watching this, don't use steroids. You know, anybody watching this who's been working out for years and years and is at their genetic potential, dude, you should know yourself whether you want to use steroids or not. The answer's probably no by now. So anyway, that's my opinion on the subject.